Once you start seeing the truth, you cannot unsee the lies. And once you are awake, you shall remain awake. This is what Nietzsche said, and based on his idea, the realization of truth is permanent. And for most of my life, I believe knowledge and perspicacity were a form of gift, if not a talent. So I strived for transformation. I pursued truth. I pursued consciousness. I strived to be aware, thinking that breaking away from these illusions would grant me peace of mind. But as you all know, seeing the world for what it is does not grant you peace, but rather disappointment and emptiness. And this awareness you've developed does not function as an engine that drives you forward. It becomes a burden you carry everywhere you go. So it becomes less of a gift and more of a curse. Once you realize that everything around you and every human society is built on layers of lies, it's impossible to fit in. Because what I value in a conversation is simply a waste of time for the others. And what they find time-worthy and meaningful is only futile and fruitless on my end. But at the same time, I realize that I'm just another vulnerable human being, trapped inside my own flesh and body. So, as much as I embrace solitude, I find myself clinging on to the hope that one day I would find a connection. But once again, I would come to a conclusion that I am alone in the universe. So no matter what logic you use and what kind of solutions you try to come up with, you keep circling back to this same idea of meaninglessness. And when a man feels life is meaningless, he's forced to make a choice. He can give up, or he can believe. And giving up is quite easy, and it's a much simpler solution because you can stop thinking. Since you've already come to the conclusion that life has no meaning, the actions you take, the words you speak, and the way you carry yourself do not need any more attention. And when you stop paying attention, you fall into helpless nihilism. And in the beginning, nihilism feels good. But this is a cozy trap. And this trap is comfortable enough to keep you off of your avant-garde perspective. Then you realize that if you truly believe, you strive to keep your edge. You sharpen your tools and you build yourself higher. You start to believe that there's a reason for why you were given this awareness. And you maintain your avant-garde mentality. And more importantly, maybe your vision might be able to transform yourself once again. Transform yourself back to that innocent, hopeful, and courageously curious being that you once were, but you've forgotten your whole life. So, do you remember who you are?